I've been on the hunt for a USB power meter that has native USB support since my smartphone now has it, and to aid in testing USB-C flashlights and power banks. I ran across the PowerZ USB-C meter by ChargerLab.com at Banggood.com and asked if they could send it to me to take a closer look at. And that's what we've got in front of us today. The meter itself, which I've got plugged in and running, is two black PCBs, and they've got nice gold accents here in color. They are sandwiched together with Phillips screws. In the center here, the screen is pretty dense, which I like. It's a pretty decent quality screen, as you can see there. I believe it's OLED. On the left-hand side here, you see a full-size USB connector that's capable of 3 amps between 3.6 and 20 volts. On top, sandwiched between the two connectors, you have a micro USB connector, and that's for connecting to your computer. And I'll talk more about that in a bit. Then you've got 3 buttons here. You've got a back, a select, and a forward. Then on the far right side, you have another full-size USB cable that's capable of 3 amps output. And on the bottom, there are 3 connectors, 2 of which I'm using here, USB-C and a micro USB. And on the back here, it tells you what all these connectors are for, which is nice. So you've got output, USB-C, input, micro USB, input, USB-C. Input, full-size USB computer, and output. So that's a nice thing, and I'll get a close-up of this here. So the interface on this meter is pretty easy to follow, and its input power can be to any port except the ones designed for output, if that makes sense. So here is screen 1. This shows the input voltage, output, amperage, watts, as well as timer. Pretty cool. If I click forward, this is an automated test for resistance. So if I disconnect my load side here, it makes it ready. I connect my load, runs its test, and it says I've got 98 ohm of resistance. If I click one forward, this is an oscilloscope of the power going through the meter at the moment. Kind of neat here. It's got numbers and explains kind of what everything is. It's kind of slow to refresh, but not too bad, as you can see. Screen 4 shows what each pins are doing, and if you're supporting any charging protocols or anything, like right now it's supporting Quick Charge 2.0. Screen 5 is for USB-C connector. Since I don't read Chinese, I don't know what it's saying here. And step 6 is a branding screen, I think. One of the most special things about this meter is that you can plug it into your computer via micro USB, and it has pretty extensive software to change parameters, visualize data, update firmware, and more. However, it's all in Chinese. And there is an English mode of the software, but it changes very little of the screens. With a bit of guessing, I was able to update the firmware, which is hard to find. I actually ended up getting it from Banggood's website, or a link that was in the comments of Banggood's website. The manual I downloaded stressed that you need to update the firmware, and I would completely agree. Hopefully they continue to translate and make an English version for those of us who don't speak Chinese. The software distribution is a bit of a challenge too. ChargerLab.com, which is labeled on the PCB, doesn't seem to be the manufacturer's website. And all it has is some outdated reviews of kind of random products. I ended up getting the software link from Banggood, and even then it was all in Chinese. I had to use Google Translate, and I had to kind of guess and use my phone. It made it more challenging, for sure. The ingredients to have a really nice power meter that's capable of measuring USB-C are here, but unfortunately the software just isn't ready if you're not fluent in Chinese, especially in electrical terms in Mandarin. It's for that reason I can't recommend this meter unless you can read Mandarin. If you're fluent in Mandarin, this would be a great option. As always, I'll have a link to this meter below on where you can find it on Banggood.com. Take a look at it. Even if you've seen this review in the future, they may have a new version. Hopefully the comments will stay updated with it. It's something I know I'm going to check into every once in a while to make sure I've always got the latest firmware and software version hoping that an English version will come out. If I notice one, I'll put it in the description too. As always, thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to my channel for future reviews.